So I had a dream where a guy lived up where I used to live as a kid by my elementary school. So behind his house, there's a small forested area. And this dude was building all this crazy stuff like advanced technology in the forested area on a higher density. Now, there's always been something weird about that forested area because whenever I astral project around it or dream about it, there's always an interesting signature that the forest gives off. And I think that this particular experience is an interpretation of this signature, probably pretty distorted. That's why it's labeled as a dream. And I assume that it's just technology on a higher density. It could be something like a simple beacon, but I don't really know. And this guy has all this technology. He has a Stargate, a couple shuttles, and the Stargate kind of pulls at me when I get near it. And he came around when I was observing all that stuff on this higher density, and he morphed into a dog and told me to follow him through the forest. And we went through the forest, and he brought me into a larger ship. And this ship was pretty cool. So we took off in his ship, and we started traveling through space. And his windshield had a heads-up display built into it, and these little lines that indicated how many light years that we've traveled. There were lines that were panning across the windshield as we traveled. And I accidentally kicked a red lever under the seat, and I thought that I really messed something up, but he told me that it was okay. The lever doesn't really do anything. And then I asked him what language he wrote all of his drivers in for his ships and the Stargate system and all that. And he told me that he wrote it in Entity. And I asked him how long he was writing in Entity, and he said 30 years. And I looked it up. There actually is no programming language named Entity that is 30 years old or more. Also, this dude was 18 years old. So that doesn't make any sense. So we eventually stopped at a space station, and in the space station, he was buying all these things, and he told me to spray some sealant into my mouth. So you know that's sealant, it's like foam or some sort of mist that hardens and seals up stuff so that water or air can't pass through it. Well, he told me to spray that in my mouth. So I did that for some reason. That would actually be the worst idea in real life because you wouldn't be able to breathe after you use it. And I did that, and then we took off again in a spaceship. And I was talking to him about how I feel like I own a spaceship. Like in a past life, I was an advanced extraterrestrial. I've had experiences where people tell me this, and then I felt it. I felt that signature every now and then. It's basically a very large vessel. It's like the human body, just 1,000 times more advanced. And I felt like I have it out there somewhere, and it's trapped or abducted or something. And I told this dude that I have a spaceship somewhere, and I was wondering if he could help me find it. What he did was he found this moon, and he flew me through this energy barrier that was around this moon. And I felt that this energy barrier was built to keep consciousness from fast traveling into that area or fast traveling to signals that are coming from that area. It was built to keep me from binding to my vessel, my spaceship again, and using it. And apparently in the stream, whoever governed this area, this moon, were the people who abducted my spaceship and parked it into this blocked off area. So as soon as my friend flew his spaceship through the barrier, I fully detected this spaceship that I owned, and it was just calling to me. And I immediately projected my consciousness into the spaceship to try to take it out of this area. As soon as I got into the spaceship, it felt like the most powerful vessel that I've ever used. It was gigantic. It felt like it was about 1 kilometer in length and about 0.5 kilometer in width, and in depth on average about 0.3 kilometers. But that's just in estimation, and of course this is, a dream. And I used the thrusters to break the coupling devices that were holding it down. As soon as I got a half a kilometer off the ground, these little miniguns started shooting at me from the ground, and I took a while. It took me like 10 seconds to figure out how to start up the miniguns on this gigantic ship and just shoot the other miniguns on the ground. But after that, after like 5 seconds of shooting my own miniguns, this giant laser gun just shoots me down, shoots my ship, and it just breaks into pieces, and it falls back down to the surface slowly. Then I deprojected my consciousness back to my vessel inside of my friend's spaceship, and we just took off because my spaceship obviously was shot down and is no longer functional. And I just told him that I was sorry that he drove me all the way to my spaceship, and I just wasn't able to get it out of the area. And he was okay with it. He didn't really care. And that's the end of that dream. See you next time.